One of the most frustrating things that people can suffer through when trying to lose weight is that last stubborn 10 pounds. You're losing weight, doing great, then you get about 10 pounds away from your goal. It won't budge no matter what you do. So what do you do? We have the answer. Check it out.
What do you do?
All right, let's talk about this. Why is this so stubborn? Why is it that because this is common. You often hear about this, that last 10, 15 pounds just won't come off my body.
It's your body's job.
I was going to say, you got to argue there's an evolutionary reason for this, right? I mean, your body has got to be, the leaner you get,
the harder it gets to get leaner.
Yeah, the harder it gets to get leaner. It's not, you would think, I guess, common thought would be, as I get in my rhythm and I'm consistent with my training and my diet, it should get easier and easier, but it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
It gets harder and harder the leaner you get. I mean, I think the initial weight loss or body fat drop for somebody who's, say, north of 30% body fat is relatively easy. But as you get closer and closer to that, either for men, single digit body fat, for women, low 20s, it becomes really difficult every percent to get lower.
Yeah, but you know what? You also hear this from people who aren't even trying to get that low. You'll just hear people who are like women who are trying to get like 26% body fat, or guys who are trying to get to 16 or 17%, and then they're 10 pounds away from their goal, and then suddenly everything stops. And what's happening oftentimes, because now if you're just doing things wrong and you're eating more suddenly and stuff like that, that's different. But let's say you're doing everything consistently, and then suddenly you get stuck, you've hit a metabolic wall, is what happened. And so to put it in as simple terms, and of course it's more complicated than this, but simply speaking, when you're losing body fat, you have to be in what's known as a calorie deficit. You have to be burning more than you're taking in, okay, or taking in less than you're consuming. And your body doesn't like to be in this place. Your body doesn't like to burn more calories than you're taking in. It has to borrow to make up the difference, and it borrows energy from hopefully body fat. Just like if you were spending more money than you were making, at some point you look at your bank account and you go, yeah, we got to figure out how to spend less. And so your metabolism adapts. Your body starts to burn less calories. And one of the ways it does this is it'll pare muscle down. And in my experience, this is where this happens, is where a person's losing weight and they're eating less, moving more. And then they get in this place where they're like, I got to eat even less. I don't feel like I'm eating that much at all. I'm really hungry. I'm already working out a lot. I don't think it's realistic, knowing what my schedule is like and my consistency behaviors are like, to add more exercise. Is that what I got to do? I got to cut even more my calories and exercise even more.
Yeah.
And a lot of coaches and a lot of trainers would say, yeah, that's what you got to do because that's the easy answer, but it's not actually the best answer. When you get stuck in this place where you hit that metabolic wall, what you often need to do to get the last 10 pounds off your body is to change gears and try to boost metabolism, or try to make your metabolism learn or want to burn more calories. And so oftentimes when I'm working with someone and they're stuck on those last 10 pounds, we do a reverse diet and start focusing on building muscle so that we can get the 10 pounds off.
Start giving them the resources. I mean, it's literally like you're signaling your body, your demand for calories is very high because of that amount of activity you're producing, but the resources are very low. And so your body's like, well, now we need to adjust for this and maintain whatever resources we can hold on to.
Totally.
So it's just like we're trying to go against our natural mechanisms there, and you just inevitably hit a wall. So reversing out is pretty much the answer.
I'd say this is pretty obvious when you know the calorie intake for both, whether it be for the female or male. Like, so typically if someone's hit this wall and they're a female, they're under 2,000 calories they're eating. Yeah. And so it's like very obvious. It's like we
usually around 15.
Yeah, exactly. But anything under 2,000, if they hit this wall, I'm going back the other way for sure. You're already at that low. Like for me, under 2,000 for a female, and anything really under 2,500 for a male would be the same thing. Same thing. A guy who's eating 2,400 something calories, and he's hit that wall. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Because if someone came to me and they're like, "Oh, I hit this wall, I can't lose the last 10 pounds," and she's eating 2,600 calories, well, we still have room.
That's right.
Yeah, we still have room to cut and still be in a healthy place. And a guy comes to me and he says, "Oh, I've hit the wall, I can't lose the last 10 pounds." I'm like, "Well, how would your calories at?" "Oh, I'm at 3,400 calories." "Oh, okay, well,
Easy.
Easy. We have room." But typically this happens when somebody has already played the cutting and moving more game, and they have now found themselves exercising, 4 to 6 times a week, plus maybe even cardio or lots of steps and activity, and their calories are now in the low 2000s or under 2000 calories. And it's like, where do we go from here? And which is why I think so many people put all the weight back on, because it's just not sustainable.
Nope.
It's not a sustainable place to be for probably 95% of the population, unless you are obsessed with exercise. It's just not a good place to be. And so, yeah, it's almost always a reverse diet.
Yeah, and this is so common that you even see this in people who use a GLP medication.
Oh, yeah.
Which are powerful. These are powerful medications that just like really crush your
happens
appetite.
faster because of that.
We saw people like this. We worked with a group of 50 plus people, and there were people on there who had lost significant weight on a GLP. So they had to lose, I think it was close to north of 80 pounds initially. They'd gotten something like 60 pounds off. There was another 30 pounds left. They were at this plateau. There was one person in particular I can remember. She was at this plateau for like 6 months. And we were asking her, okay, well, let's look at what you're eating. And she was eating 1,200 calories or less a day. Some days it was 1,000.
Yeah.
And she's got 30 more pounds, not to get shredded, but just to get into like a normal, healthy place. She had 30 more pounds to go. And she was eating, like I said, 1,000 to 1,200 calories, sometimes even less, she said. And that's a tough, but your metabolic rate has this remarkable ability to adapt. And it's crazy. We got good studies on this where there's a few ways your body will do this. Some of them are more mysterious than others, but the obvious ones that we can measure, they've done this really well, where they'll put trackers on people and measure daily activity. And as a person ramps up their exercise and cuts their calories, their body will start to make up for it with reduced activity throughout the day. So without them realizing, they're sitting more, they're walking slower, they're doing less movement throughout the day because the body's trying to make up for it. Another obvious one is
more lethargic, purposely. Yeah,
totally. Another obvious one is muscle loss. So when you look at just a calorie deficit with activity minus strength training, so no strength training, so no protective exercise when it comes to muscle. You look at 30% to 45% of the weight coming from muscle. And it's not that the person's body is burning muscle away because it needs to burn muscle for energy, but rather it's trying to reduce its demands by taking this tissue that's kind of expensive from a caloric standpoint and bringing it down. And then there's mysterious ways that the body slows its metabolism down. You could have the same lean body mass and have a metabolism that decides to burn more or less calories. And this has to do probably with mitochondrial function and other mechanisms. Hormone changes can also affect this as well. So the body just starts to adapt.
Stress too, overall health. I mean, look at the challenge that Corinne and I are having currently right now, like with just her body not responding the way we would want it to, and it can be very stressful and frustrating for somebody who feels like they're eating really well, training and doing all the things. And so I don't know, this is the part about personal training that I think is so valuable, and why I think tools like AI will never replace a good coach who can help somebody through this process, because I've trained enough people to see anomalies like this all the time where it's just like, this doesn't make sense, and the body sometimes just rebels and the math just doesn't math. It's like this, hey, based off of the amount of activity we're doing and based off of my macros and what I'm eating, this is what should be happening, yet it's not because of all these variables.
Yeah, what I used to do back in the day, even before I fully understood reverse dieting, because there was a point there where I really understood the concept of reverse dieting. But even before that, when I'd get a client like this, and we're doing the traditional, we're doing some strength training, adding some activity, we're tracking calories and macros and we're cutting calories, and then they get stuck, 10, 15 pound plateau away from their goal. And it would be for a while. And I would give them a good month or two before I decide it was a plateau, because you don't get to see this consistent fat loss. Typically it's like you'll get a little bit and then it'll stop for a few weeks and it goes down again. But once I established like, oh, this is a plateau, before I even understood what reverse dieting was, I just knew this person needed a mental break. So they'd come to me and we would talk. We're like, okay, we're plateauing here. And I'd say, you know what we're going to do for a little while? We're going to try to stop losing that last 15 pounds. We're just going to focus on getting strong for a little while. We're just going to focus on getting you stronger in the gym for a little while. It's a different focus. It feels good. And what tends to happen when we start to get stronger is then the fat loss starts to happen. Here's what everybody wants to do when they're stuck with that last 10 pounds. They want to increase their activity and cut their calories more.
Harder.
Here's what most people need to do. Build their way out of this plateau.
Yeah.
You don't want to cut your way out of this plateau. You want to build your way out of this plateau. Far more successful strategy. I can almost always break through this kind of a plateau through a really structured, let's get stronger phase, which typically includes an increase in calories, hitting protein targets, changing the structure of my workouts a little bit. Oftentimes I even reduce the volume. And I'm looking at, let's see if we can get more weight on the bar. And then that's the plateau buster. Whereas a lot of people are like, no, I got to run more. I got to eat less. Let me cut even more. The reason why it feels so stubborn is because your old methods stopped working. And then to make it worse, especially if your calories are already low, here's where it's really frustrating. Because I talked about the person who's like, I don't want to cut anymore and I don't want to move anymore. You oftentimes even get the person who's like, fine, I'm going down lower. I was at 1,600 calories. I'm going down to 1,200 calories. And then I'm going to add an extra day of cardio. And they got 10 more pounds to lose. And then this is where it gets really crazy. Yeah. And I've seen this more than a handful of times. You'll see
shoot them up. They'll see their weight shoot up sometimes.
Oh, this is what's more common. I've seen that too, which is that people are just like, I don't understand what's going on. But I've seen this is more common. We'll see like 3 pounds down on the scale, plateau again. Then we'll do a body composition test. And we're like, looks like your body fat percentage went up. How is that possible? I lost 3 pounds. It was muscle. You lost 3 pounds of muscle. Our nutrient intake was too low.
Very deceiving like that.
And you're smaller, but you lost muscle. So your body fat percentage actually went up. Boy, is that really fun. My favorite story around this, Adam, is when you talk about what you do with your trainers. I love that story because you have a bunch of trainers that experience this. I mean, you've told it before. I would love to hear that story again because you're not talking about a bunch of everyday people who don't know how to exercise. These are all trainers.
Yeah.
That went through it.
No, I mean, it was a competition that Justin was a part of this. And I used to do this, on the fairly regular basis annually with my trainers where we'd have fun. We used to have the hydrostatic way. I had a relationship with that company and they used to bring the truck. So we had an outside source. So this was like, what was great about it was that it was very controlled, right? So it wasn't like
just a mirror.
Yeah, it wasn't a mirror. It wasn't a bunch of people that were randomly like different trainers
They weren't
testing.
doing their own calipers.
Yeah, they weren't doing their own calipers. It was an outside source that was scheduled.
Third party.
Yeah, third party and real accurate too. So, and we would test, and then the goal was to, who could have the greatest body composition change.
How long was it for, by the way?
3 months, I think, is what we used to do.
Yeah, I think
about 3 months is what we would do.
So 90 days is so you could lose the most body fat.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4 months that we would do it for. And
by the way, what was the prize? Was it bragging rights? Or did you guys?
We used to put money in the pot.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So everyone was real money.
Yeah, everybody put money in the pot, and then of course bragging rights.
Yeah,
too.
bragging rights was
even though there was money involved. I think it was just
when you're in the gym, you want to be the guy.
Yeah, and this was also too. By the way, this is like this staff I'm talking about with Justin was my elite staff. There was a period of time where I had trainers that I've shared before. Where I had got it down to about 15 trainers and they were all master level. So these aren't a bunch of like newbie trainers, rookie. These are all
multiple certifications.
Yeah, multiple certs. Yeah, master trainers. Everyone's really good at what they do. And everybody was really fit too. It was just taking your fitness to another level. And man, the amount, including myself, of trainers that were just like, this thing doesn't work. this is
Bro, the amount of
inaccurate.
comments were crazy.
Oh yeah, that shit doesn't work,
Yeah.
and them getting online and like looking for all the air in it, and it's just like, oh, I don't think I let enough air out when I went under. And
You
I'm
talk about extreme methods too. You get guys doing like burpees in the sauna.
Oh, yeah.
and, like all kinds of stuff
to
just
lose weight, to
that water weight.
lose weight rapidly and to cut as hard as they could. Like, so they were doing things like that, and because you have a bunch of trainers who probably are in very healthy metabolic places too. You keep that in consideration too. It's just like they're coming from a healthy metabolic place. You're talking about some situations that could have people that aren't healthy, have hormone issues. These are all very balanced.
This is a bias of fit people.
Yeah. So if anybody should have an easy time of shredding down, it should be these guys and girls. And at least half, would come back and be incredibly frustrated. And you had situations where trainers' body fat percentage actually went up
because they would lose weight on the scale.
Yeah.
They're like super encouraged. I'm winning.
Yes.
I lost 10 pounds.
Yes.
But they did it through too much calorie restriction and too much cardio. Is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. And what, like I said, like it would have resulted in is a bunch of pissed off trainers. It was such I talk about that time in my career, and I'm trying to remember what year. I'm at Santa Teresa, so I'm about 8-9 years into my career at that time, maybe a little bit further along. And so I'd consider myself a relatively experienced. This is towards the good part of being what I consider myself good. So that was a very eye-opening moment for me that time. And then, of course, when I got into competing and took that to a whole nother level on consistency and also presenting myself and even lower, really just opened my eyes to how easily people can dip into that.
Yeah, and how the body works.
Yeah, exactly. And how that can fluctuate. And I mean, just, I hope Corinne, I'll ask her today. I know she listens because she's heard us talking about her. I hope she's okay and comfortable with me continuing to share it. But I think she's such a great example because she's brilliant. She knows what to do. She's great at coaching clients that are struggling with this, but even herself is challenged with this. And we have these moments where we just had a week where I gave her a diet break, and we have a diet break, and I cut her like 500 calories a day. 500 calories a day. Her steps were like at 10,000, which is increased from 8,000 steps. So where she's no cardio, but just increased activity, reduced calories. And so it really was more about the diet break. And every Sunday we have a check-in, photos, weight. I get all her stats and everything like that. And we're up 2.5 pounds on the scale. Yeah. Post period too, by the way. So last weigh-in, things like that. We're in the thick of period, holding water, all things, stuff like that. So logically, as trainers, you go, okay, there's no way she's gaining fat in this week. Mm-hmm. But her body weight on the scale is up 2 or 3 pounds in a calorie reduction like that. And so, the body, we expect it to work on this perfect 24-hour clock because that's what we've decided a day is.
Right.
But it doesn't work that way. Your hormones are fluctuating, your sodium intake and the way your body is storing water. It's just, there's so many things that can manipulate the time you decided to get on the scale that day and hop on it and measure it, and it can be really discouraging. And I think the common mistake is the course correction when you're doing a lot of the right things. And so it's super common. Trainers are not immune to it. They battle with it just as much. But again, the big lessons that I have learned through that is to trust the process and to continue to stay the course. Because what I have found is, in a lot of times, like what I'll expect to happen from like with Corinne is continuing down the path we're going, and then all of a sudden it seems like the body catches up. And the analogy I kind of give is the way we talk about how children grow.
Yeah, spurts.
In these weird spurts. It's not like when you feed your kid.
It's predictable.
When your kid rests and they grow over years. We all know that. Everybody knows this, right? And what we used to think, what scientists used to think back in the days, it was just this real incremental, slow, gradual, all the time type of growth. And what we've learned is that it's not like that at all. In fact, they can look flatlined for a period of time, and then all of a sudden, boom, this like spurt happens. And a lot of times in the muscle building game and the fat loss game, that your body responds that way. You doing all the right things and so that, and it's just like no results. This sucks. I'm not seeing the results. Maybe you even see a little bit of negative results, and then boom, 1 week you have, and it's like whew, you look like you lost 1% or 2% of body fat, and so this makes this difficult for people.
It does. I remember for myself, one of the first times I allowed myself. I say allowed because my challenge was I always wanted to gain weight. But the first time I actually stuck through a diet where I was trying to get myself down to like below 10%. And I remember it got kind of hard towards 9% body fat. Appetite goes up, the whole deal. But I got there. And then I bumped my calories. I'm like, cool, I got here. Let me just eat more and bump my calories. Now, at this time, I had been doing regular caliper testing. Okay, so body fat testing. I had somebody test me. And I remember I bumped my calories, was eating more. Of course, you feel great, more energy, I'm stronger in the gym. And 2 weeks later, I'm like, just out of curiosity, let me see where my body fat percentage is. I went up on the scale. I don't remember how many pounds, like 4 or 5 pounds. And I was down to just below 8%. And I remember being like, what? How is it that I ate more and I got leaner? I built into it. Body fat percentage, this is a percentage of your body that's body fat. So what that means is if you're listening right now and I snap my fingers and you gain 10 pounds of just muscle, so you're 10 pounds heavier on the scale, your body fat percentage went down. Even if you don't lose a single pound of body fat. So I think what a lot of people need to do in this situation here, where they've been losing, they've been doing what they think is the right thing, cutting their calories and doing more activity. Now they're stuck with that plateau, that stubborn last whatever, 10 pounds, 15 pounds. Build your way out of it. Watch what happens. This is when the magic starts to happen. You're working with your body.
I will add to that though, as you to mentally prepare you psychologically, because the most difficult part is there's an uncomfortable phase of that, and I think that's why it gets so difficult. Which we've all, whether you're the person who is obsessed with getting big, and so the cutting part, or vice versa, you're afraid to get big. There'll come a time where you're doing the right things, and you'll feel uncomfortable or it won't feel right. And I can't stress enough, the advice you're giving is right. Is just to keep building the direction. In what I have found, so long as you're eating whole foods, hitting your protein intake, right, and feeding the body that way, you won't put on a bunch of body fat.
No, you're not going to mess up real bad.
Yeah. If you reverse diet and you're basically calling your reverse diet a reverse diet, but what you're really doing is just allowing yourself to eat whatever you want, whenever you want, and you're hungry, like that's where
healthy food.
Yeah. But if you do this, where you're like you're saying is reverse diet out, when you're hungry, feed a whole natural meal type of deal, and lead with protein.
That's what I meant,
I don't think I've ever seen anybody not have success.
Nope.
They will probably go through a little bit of an uncomfortable phase. Mm-hmm. If you're really low calorie and you have someone bump 300 to 500 calories, that could be a third of their day.
You'll gain water weight for sure.
You're going to gain some water. Yeah, you're going to gain some water weight that you're going to hold on to a little bit, which will make you feel like, oh my God, I got fatter. But trust me, 500 calories didn't put a pound of fat on you. Even if it put 2 or 3 pounds on the scale, it didn't put a pound of fat on you. And just keep going that direction, and you eventually speed that metabolism up. You will build your way out of that body fat reduction you want. And then kind of what we talked about the other day, so many times too, and this is a recent lesson for myself. The last body fat test that discouraged or upset me. But then, which I thought was this is the opposite of a situation I've had. I felt like I look pretty good.
Yeah.
Wife's compliment me. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm back to the walking around naked in the house, brushing my teeth. Get a body fat test that came back, went, that's not good.
Yeah.
And it messed with my head, and because I'm like, it wasn't the number that I expected. I'm really good at being able to guess that. But the truth is, I have more muscle under the body fat that I have this time. And when I actually think about it, I'm like, you know what? I like that. I don't mind. And so a lot of people are stuck on this scale number or body fat percentage number. But if they would just put more muscle on their body.
So funny. A woman at 24% body fat who gains muscle and even stays the same body fat. So she gains some body fat with it. So 24, more muscle, you'll look leaner. You have more shape on your body. You've got more sculpt. Same thing for a man. So yeah, more muscle looks better at higher body fat percentage than less muscle does.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
I had a question for you guys. Is there recently, have either one of you guys almost got into a street fight?
Oh, just
It wasn't a street fight, or like a field fight.
I've been holding off.
I've been dying to ask, dude.
Oh man,
I've been
I know.
dying,
I text right away because it was so shocking. You know, like I think you hear a lot of stories of like little league games and you know where parents go crazy and like just too interactive and they just don't let the refs.
They get all
like,
heated.
and really like what's crazy about it. So I left the studio and I was like, wasn't sure if I was gonna make the game because it's pretty far to get there from here.
This is Everett's flag football.
Yeah. So he's having a flag football game. So he's in the playoffs now. So there's that extra bit of intensity, you know, and so I left and I got there a little bit before the half. So I kind of didn't get a lot of the context of like how the game's been going. Like Courtney wasn't like keep me updated. I get in there and it's like just you could feel the tension like already as
Must
like
have
on
been a
the
good
field.
game.
Very good game. Like and so we were actually behind by like 2 touchdowns. When I got there, and then we started making all this progress, like right when I got there, and I'm just like, yeah, like you know, yelling, and they're all looking back at me like, "Rrr." And it was like the coaches were close to us, the spectators are on one side, our team's on the other side, and so there was a lot of like engagement between their coaches.
So you're on the visitor side.
We're on the visitor side with this, so I think that's kind of where. You know, some of the conflict when you get into the intensity of like, you know, that's my son out there and you're not making a good call. Like there was a lot of talking with their coach was very, very overstepping with the referees. And he was like, you know, he's flag guarding, he's doing this, like every single thing. How much time are they going to have on the field to figure this out? And he's like counting down the seconds they had in between plays and like saying like they're going over. And it was like just overkill, you know? And I'm just kind of like just trying to acclimate and get there and see what's going on. And, you know, Courtney's trying to update me with this. And then there was like a lot of this chatter from one of the moms on our side and their coach specifically. And it was like, rah, 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 rah.
So she's in the stand and she's barking at him and he's down in the field.
Yeah. So there's no stands. It was all field. So it was like a soccer field.
Got it.
Yeah. And so we were like, I was like in the shade. So it was a hot day. So there was like a whole bunch of parents like in the shade. And there was parents that were like right there on the field, right next to behind their team.
Okay.
And the other part was funny because I was showing up knowing that it's the team that like I grew up at this school. And so every time we play them, there's this like added bit, like I kind of know their kids and I kind of know the mentality. Like it's really funny coming back to sports now as an adult and you see kind of like the culture of different schools and like kind of the vibe. And like, so we grew up and our fans were like really engaged and like very like, you know, vocal. Yeah. And my dad still kind of has that energy and I'm always like calming him down. Like, hey, Dad, shh, you know, like let's let the game play, let the kids have fun, let the refs call the game. Yeah. You know? And so nobody was like checking the fans and, you know, regulating this. And so it just kept getting more intense and more intense. We started coming back. And, you know, the kids were feeling a lot of this. And then they started to kind of like scuffle and like it was getting a little bit violent. Like one of the kids like were grabbing for the flag and then ends up tackling the kid. And then then the parents get all crazy. So anyway, it turns out like we ended up winning the game. And
so you guys came back and won.
And it was like, it was epic. Like we got like a safety and then like, so we just won by like, I think it was like 2 points or maybe 4. I think they missed like some extra point conversions along the way, but super close. And it was like a great game. Like I wish it was just the game, you know, with the kids and that was it. Right. And we all like, yeah, good game, you know, good sportsmanship. But it was like, it just got kind of, it escalated after the game. The coaches kind of came over and they were like barking at some of the parents. And one of the coaches, this is where I kind of got triggered because so one of the moms like was kind of still, yelling because of one of the calls. And
Even after she won?
so this was like, yeah, we're right at the end.
Yeah.
And she said something, and then one of their coaches was like, who let this lady out of the house and like get back in the kitchen? You know?
Oh, he said that?
Yeah, dude, like super derogatory. And I was just like, I was like, hey, watch your mouth. You know, I'm like, I yelled back at their coach because I just was like, dude, that's not cool, you know? And and so they're all just, and he turns around and just kind of like looks back and
he sees Justin. I'll be quiet.
So we have another parent he's this big jacked like Asian guy, and he's one of his kids like plays. I've seen him at basketball games, but he just like calmly kind of walks over to their coaches after the game, and he's just like trying to like, hey man, like why are you guys engaging so much, you know, let's just let the kids play. And he was trying to be kind of like check them and be a little bit diplomatic about it. But then the coach just like kind of went off the hinges on him, started yelling at him, getting in his face.
What?
And then like this other coach was kind of swarming over to the side of him. And then some other people were coming this way. And so I was just like, you know, talking to Courtney, and I saw this all kind of forming. You know how when they start swarming and trying to kind of like zone in on one person. I was like, nah, dude. So I walked right up to them, and I kind of tapped one of the coaches on the shoulder. I was like, what's going on over here? And he just kind of looks over at me, and he's like, oh, no, we're good, boss. Fist bump. We're good, boss. And then he's like yelling, and he like grabs the coach. He's like, no, we gotta go.
Well, yeah, because Justin came over.
It was so funny, dude, because it was like literally on the brink of, and you felt it, like, you know, when it's in the air. Like I felt like they were gonna like attack this guy. You know?
That's exactly what I pictured when you texted us. I'm like, oh, I know what happened. They started getting loud at each other. And then Justin walked over, and they thought it's probably not a good idea. If we should probably chill out.
Well, I was telling Sal when you're out in the bathroom, I said, Justin has, when these moments happen, Justin has that look on his face that's like, I want to use that shoulder press strength. I'm looking for an excuse.
Bro, I got all this buried stress in my belly.
I've been bearing this shit.
Let it out.
I have some moves I want to use. You guys. Like I've never like really kicked somebody hard. I've always wanted to do that.
Oh my god, dude!
I want to uppercut. Like,
oh my god!
I was thinking about these things in my head. I was like, it's like a switch though, because like I'm like, well, he disrespected. You know, I'm like, I'm not okay with that. Like if they do anything, like they're done. And it just,
you know what's the funny? You know the funniest thing about this is that if all four of us were put in a situation like this, the most likely to fight would be Justin and then Doug,
probably,
and then you or I, which I think is so opposite of what people would think.
I don't know. I think see you if somebody got disrespected.
Well, if it was
in right away.
Okay, I'm quick. What I'm quick about. So if someone was messing with
defending,
one, if
that's
one of
what it was for me.
Yeah. If one of you guys, I would definitely be the first.
Yeah,
person
if it was
to
my
come
wife.
That's why, and she didn't have like her husband wasn't there or anything. She was in. They were kind of like verbally attacking her and like, And I was just like, no, dude. Anyways, it was one of those things.
You know,
what's wasn't okay with it.
You know, it just reminds me of that video you guys showed me. Was it you that showed me from that actor from Jack Reacher?
Oh yeah.
What's the actor's name? Does anybody know?
I don't know his actual name.
Know.
Everybody knows him by Jack Reacher.
Yeah, he's got a body cam on. And he's riding his motorcycle
with his kids.
And his kids have like motorbikes, and they look young, bro. They look like they're 7, 8, maybe 9, maybe I don't know, like little kids. Right?
Alan Richson.
Okay, and they're riding around a neighborhood, and his body cam. You can watch the video online, and one of his neighbors stands in front of him to the point where he has to dump his bike.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're riding around this neighborhood." He's like yelling at him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, man, are you drunk? Like, what's going on?" And so they go back and forth a little bit. Gets on his bike again, and he's obviously irritated, so he revs it.
Yeah.
The neighbor gets right in front of him again, and then that's when he snaps and punches the guy. But I'm like, what a terrible situation to be in because your kids are there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like part of me's like, I don't want to get violent in front of my kids, but then part of me's also
I think he handled
you're
it
doing
right.
this in front
I
of
think
my
he
kids.
handled it right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think that like
goes through your mind in the
I think he did it. I think he eventually
pushes the guy down.
Yeah, I mean, he eventually pushed the guy down and pummeled his ass.
Him, yeah.
But I mean, he first tried to defuse it, or was like, "What are you doing?" You know what I'm saying? And the guy was still, berating him. It wasn't like it would be different if he hopped off his bike and just started whooping the dude's ass, right?
Yeah.
That's a different story.
But he jumped in front of him, which is that's like dangerous.
Yeah,
you know, he had to dump his bike as a result. But that's like the last thing you want to do as a parent, because listen, you might think it's like you get in a situation like that, lose your temper. It's a terrifying for your kids to see their dad do that.
Well, remember you shared this story a long time ago about the kid who threw a basketball at the backseat.
Yeah, dude, he threw a ball I was driving when this was when my older kids were little, and we're driving. There was teenage kids playing basketball, and as we drove by, one of them thought it would be funny to throw the basketball at the car, and it bounced off the back window. My daughter, who at the time was little, she was like 3 or 4 maybe. And I'm already feeling the fumes because they hit the ball up, and I was gonna keep driving, but then I looked at my rearview mirror. My daughter looked terrified, and that was it. I snapped. Yeah. That's when I pulled over. They all ran inside, and I tore their basketball hoop off their thing. My kids never forgot that.
Yeah.
You know, that whole thing, and I regret losing my temper like that or whatever.
Yeah.
But man,
did I share with you guys the like I told you when the whole thing happened with my car, the M8 getting like totaled, right?
Yeah.
Like I was like trying to, what is the lesson that I'm supposed to get from all this? I'd say one of the things that like came up for me that was really interesting. I shared with Katrina. She's like, "Oh my God, I've never heard you tell that story before." And I'm like, "Well, I said I hadn't thought about it. It hadn't came up because I was like really trying to figure out like what is this supposed to be about? It's supposed to be like detachment from material things, like whatever, and not care." And I don't know. You guys weren't around. I think Doug saw a little bit, but I was like really just so calm about the whole thing and concerned about the guy who hit it and everything like that. Inside, my heart was broken. But really tried to handle it with like, okay, what's my lesson here? And so when I was 16, the first real materialistic thing that I ever obsessed over or loved was my Acura Integra. It was the first car. It was the first thing I ever got that was worth more than $1,000. And I loved that car. Every dollar that every paycheck went into that thing. And so I don't know if you know this but right after I had it for like maybe 6 months, I'm in the middle lane to turn into a grocery store to go left, and it's just pouring down rain. It's that kind of rain where your windshield wipers go as fast as possible and they still can't clear the rain off fast enough. It's raining like that. And a lady drifts over and clips me. And when I'm in the rain and I'm in that and it slides, I in my head think it's like a little bump, and I get out and I see my car. And it's actually smashed in the exact same spot. It looks exactly the same as the M8 did. Whoa. And I go apeshit. I'm a stupid 16 and a half, 17-year-old kid, and someone just broke my toy, and I'm screaming and yelling, and I'm all irate out in the middle of the road, night raining down, and I'm going, and it was an old lady that was in the car, and she was so scared she wouldn't get out of the car until the cops came. The cops finally came and were there. Was when she finally would open her door and come out, because here's this teenage boy who's
she's scared.
Yes, and I can't see who she is. You're
just mad.
I'm just mad, but I was cussing and swearing and swinging my arms and just like so pissed when I saw it. And I thought, oh, that's so crazy, because I walked up on that situation with that guy and it was the total opposite. It was like I didn't do that at all. I was more concerned about, I was like, bro, we should probably get out of the car because he's in the middle of the street still, and he was totally kind of out of it. But I had forgot about that memory completely, about that part of that, or at least at that part of that moment. I was like, oh, that's right, I forgot that.
When you saw the old lady, did you say sorry, or were you still?
No, totally not. You're
still too.
No, totally. I was so in my own moment.
Yeah.
And I'm a young, dumb 17-year-old kid. I still was mad at her. You know what I'm saying? Like I only thought about that now was like, oh, that's right, I forgot that. She was so scared that she stayed in her car.
I had someone scare me in my car, like terrify the hell out of me when I was 16 years old. I was driving. This is when I bought my first car that was mine, was a Toyota pickup truck, and I put rims on it. It was just a 4-banger. Like I didn't even have AC or power steering, but it's my own car.
But you had rims.
I had rims on it.
You got them rims.
I had rims on it, and I thought it was fast, which it wasn't. It was like 160 horsepower, four-cylinder. But I was driving, and there was a truck next to me. And I thought I'd race them, because that's what I did all the time. And I took off at the light, went in front of them, put my hazards on, because that's what you do when you beat someone, right, to show them. And then I brake checked them a little bit, like, oh, yeah, I beat you. Well, it turned out to be the biggest human being I've ever seen in my life. He pulled up next to me, and he was so mad and yelling at me, and he was huge. He was jacked and huge and yelling at me.
Somebody that is,
and I was looking at him, and I kept saying to him, "I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid." And then I had to stop at a stoplight, and I stopped, and he got out of his car, and he was just as big as I thought he was, and he tried to rip my side view mirror off, and I kept telling him, "I'm just a kid," and he got in his car and took off. And I remember being like, oh man, that was really scary. And years later, so now I'm 18, I'm the fitness manager at 24 Hour Fitness in Hillsdale. One of my trainers was a competitive bodybuilder, brought in his friend, Mr. San Jose. It was that guy. And he didn't recognize me.
Mr. San Jose.
Yeah, he walks in, I'm like,
I know who you're talking about.
big white dude.
Yes.
Massive
He
white
was
dude.
at Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're
huge
talking about.
white dude.
Yeah.
This was back in 97 or 98.
I used to call him Troy.
Yeah, so you can look him up if you want.
He looks like that guy from Troy.
But he walked in. He didn't recognize me, of course. But I looked at him like, oh shit. Oh no, dude, there he is, bro.
Wow. I had something like that happen. But I was like in college, and I was like pulling out of campus, and there was this guy, like, you know, I could see him in my rearview mirror, like just like tailgating everybody behind and like swerving, going all crazy. And then he finally got to me, and so I decided like, oh, I'm just screw this guy. I'm gonna brake check him, and I just kept brake checking him. And the guy, I could see the guy just raging and going crazy. And then we get to the stoplight, and I'm here, and he's next to me, and he's just like yelling, and I'm rolling down my window. I was like, "What are you gonna do?" And he literally takes his gun out of the center console, and he's got it like this, and I just immediately was like, "Oh!" and it turned right and just sped out to the right, like right as, dude, like. I still think about that today. Like, that's all been a huge deterrent for me to ever like get in the road rage stuff. And it's like, why? Yeah. Like, why did I even get involved? Obviously, he was like running from the cops or like something. Like, he was not.
You never know.
You don't want to mess with people.
Now it's like so hard to get me like in that space. Now, like if someone's doing something or whatever, I'm like, whatever. It's not a big deal.
Worth it.
And I've even had the thought like. I've even had this thought where like someone's racing and trying to get around me or whatever. I'm like, what if it's like an emergency? Like, what if the dude's trying to get somewhere or something like that?
Yeah.
You never know. You know what I mean?
Katrina's the master at that. She always has the ability, like in those moments, to like think of, well, hon, what if this? And it's like, oh, God, okay, what make me feel terrible? You know what I'm saying? Like that's like you don't know. You have no idea what that person is.
You know what it was? It was
going through or on their way to.
Yeah.
Or,
So when I told this story,
something horrible happened to him.
I just remembered now. I told this story maybe a couple of years later, so I'm 19 or 20, told the exact story I just said to a friend of mine who then told me, this is a made up story. And he's like, let me tell you a story that'll help you. And he's like, a dad gets on a bus with his two kids and they're just acting up and they're just screaming and climbing the seats and throwing things. And everybody's looking at this dad like, why don't you do something about it? Why don't you? Finally, one of the kids spits and it hits this woman and she stands up and screams at the dad, what kind of father are you? Why aren't you, helping your kids? And he looks at her and goes, I'm sorry, their mother just passed away and they don't know how to handle it. And I remember when I heard that, it crushed me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? You don't know what people are going through. They could very well be massive jerks, but they could also be going through something. Who knows?
That's right.
Anyway, some more studies are coming out on the best form of exercise for skin.
Form of exercise for skin?
For skin. Like what form of exercise improves the way skin looks the best?
I mean,
now I'm going to ask.
Not cardio.
Yeah, you guys know the answer to this.
Yeah.
You know this. When you've seen fitness fanatics and the kind of exercise they do, there's a difference in their skin.
There is.
Here's what they found in the study. Strength training, by far, was the best. Because it increases collagen production systemically. So when you lift weights, obviously if you're building muscle, you're getting lots of protein synthesis. Part of this is collagen production.
Okay, I was thinking oxidative stress was probably like...
Well, that's the other
cardio,
part with too much of any exercise.
Sure.
But it was the only form of exercise to really, really boost collagen production in the skin. So it's like the best form of exercise for good-looking skin.
Does that is that like every time you're working out you get this boost from it, or is it like a sustained thing by carrying more lean body mass? You get it both.
Yeah. You get this signal that says boost protein synthesis, and then over time your body carries more collagen matrices, more just muscle fibers, larger muscle fibers. So it's literally, you think of strength training as muscle building, it's protein building, and which includes collagen, which is a protein.
Yeah.
So speaking of skin, by the way, so Caldera Lab, right, one of our partners, one of the reasons why they're so good at what they do, they have a term called biomimetics. Biomimetics, and essentially what their theory or their methodology is they are trying to find and work with natural ingredients that act like skin. So do our formulas mimic, and I'm reading off their website, the skin's natural pathways? In other words, is this how the skin naturally moisturizes, naturally boosts collagen production? naturally reduces damage from UV rays. And that's the foundation of where they look at their compounds and their formulations. So they're not trying to like, because there's different ways to look at this. You can look at it from like, let's figure out what chemicals do this, that, and the other. Or you could say, how does the skin work and what helps the skin
How do you
work
work with the skin?
How do you
enhance
test and
it?
measure something like
I
that?
don't know, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously there's a way to do it because people have used pharmaceuticals to clear skin and do things like that, right? But that's normally like they're killing the bacteria or killing something.
Yeah, it's kind of taking over the job.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Like you want to get rid of a bunch of bacteria, we could either antibiotic the hell out of you, or we could figure out a way to improve the microbiome of whatever we're looking at.
Right. And that's got to be the difference,
Yep,
right? Like
yep.
most of your chemical face products are designed to like kill and like start over on it, right? Like like an antibiotic, where this is doing something more like a probiotic.
That's right.
Right? I don't know if that's a way to
No, that's a good example.
Yeah.
No, totally. Doug, that picture you pulled up before, by the way, that was not Mr. San Jose. That was Mike Matarazzo, who was a
Yeah, I couldn't find your Mr. San Jose.
Yeah, I would love to see a picture of this guy. I'm
trying to remember.
I
He
feel
was
like
like, he was about 6 foot tall.
I feel like I know who it
6 foot
is.
tall white dude, flat top.
Oh, flat top?
I
He was
think
bald, the one I'm thinking of.
Maybe he was bald. He was 6 foot. He was a tall dude for a bodybuilder. Obviously huge.
Jacked, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I know who it is.
I know. I feel like I know.
That's why I want to see a picture.
Trying to remember
Isn't he
his
still
name.
personal training? I believe.
I have no idea.
I think he's still personal training.
White dude, like straight up white dude. I mean, his face was red when he was yelling at me. I remember that part.
Just veins in the forehead.
I remember that part. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we have to know. I mean, the chances that we don't know him would be higher. I think.
Did you guys see what happened with Facebook, Instagram, with Meta?
No.
Okay, so they I'll pull it up.
Oh, wait. So did they just pull a lot of their VR? I heard that they downsized because that was like a huge
That's not
miss for them.
I know that they're cutting on that, but that's not the article that I have.
Okay.
So the article shows that LA jury came out with a verdict that finds Instagram, YouTube, and Instagram and YouTube, were designed specifically to addict kids.
Yeah, no shit.
So they had to prove
Water
this in
is
court,
wet.
which that's not good for them at all. That's not a good ruling because if you are found specifically, and here's what my question is: how do they prove this in the court? We're trying to make kids like it versus make it addicting.
Yeah, not only that, but like
Because what's the difference?
And
I
then
guess?
does that open the door for all the gaming companies that do the same exact thing?
If this kind of verdict sticks and starts to spread, you're right. And I'm going to say this as a parent, if you use addictive science for children, I think that should be heavily regulated. I do. I really do.
Yeah.
Because of the way it affects the brain and development. I think it's a problem. Addictive things for adults, I'm not a fan of either, but at least you're an adult. You can make your own decisions.
Yeah. You can you can actually discern whether or not like you are addicted. Like
Yeah.
it's like they're just susceptible to it.
But I used to be like this huge, like give people choices, make their own decisions. And
Libertarian.
I'm largely still that way, but more and more I'm realizing that people just
Humans need
we just can't
guardrails.
help ourselves,
Humans
dude.
need guardrails, bro.
So have
or more some sort of a moral foundation.
Well, that for sure.
Have you guys watched that documentary? It's about plastics.
Oh, I saw that, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
I
how
saw-
pervasive it has become over the last like decade or so. But yeah, it's got, I forget her name, but she was on Joe Rogan before. Like hilarious lady. She talks about phthalates and like she did the study with the taints and all that and the size and like reproductive.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Remember that study?
The study that what about taints?
Oh, she measured the taints.
Oh,
of-
one of you brought that up a long time ago.
They're getting shorter.
Yeah, they just get smaller and smaller.
The area between the front and the back
Yeah.
shrinking related to these chemicals.
Just showing all these petrochemicals.
Who decides like, you know what? I'm going to measure taints. I have this weird suspicion that they're shrinking.
I have a hunch.
Yeah, like how do you come up with?
I have a hunch about your hunch.
How do you come up?
How many taints do you have to see before you're
Right,
like, they look like they're getting smaller?
Before you have some sort of correlation, right, to draw to it.
I don't know, man. These
That's
taints are looking
interesting.
smaller than the ones I remember.
Yeah.
Back in the
I
day.
don't know what websites you go to for that, but yeah. So she was a big part of this movement in trying to kind of check a lot of these petrochemicals that are just everywhere, and there's so many regulations that you would hope lead back in the day as an example, right?
Yeah.
Like we found out that everybody's IQ is dropping like a few points,
Yes,
and then
crime went down when
crime
we
went
took
down.
Took out lead.
So there's all benefits once we started removing that, from gas and from like toys and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, why wouldn't we look at like all these other chemicals that are literally in your everyday life and are not beneficial to you, in fact, are harming? She actually took her experiment in this was with couples in fertility, which I thought it was really interesting to watch. Like, it was like maybe 6 or 7 different couples and they couldn't, conceive. And so they were literally trying out like to live a life without any of this exposure and everyday contact with
What did that look
phthalates. They just had to literally replace everything. Like there's a lot of companies out now that actually are trying really hard, like clothing wise, with drinking bottles, like everything else, like to start removing a lot of the plastics and a lot of these phthalates. But so what was cool though was, and it was really like, oh man, tugged on your heart a bit, because like they give their story of how many times they've tried. It's been like 10 years for some of these couples, and then you see them going through a year of this process, and it was like I think maybe 5 out of the 7 couples or whatever like were able to have a kid.
Wow.
And it was remarkable, and you're like, wow, this is crazy. And then of course there were some stipulations with the other ones why it didn't work for them, but like
5 out of 7 is not bad for people who are infertile or having those struggles.
It was pretty remarkable. But it just made me think about that, like how crazy like inundated we are.
Clothes, bed sheets,
Medicine.
things we drink from medicine. Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think are probably the top 5 offenders?
You got to. Here's the deal with petrochemicals. You can directly
Pills, everything.
You can directly connect the use of petroleum and petroleum-based chemicals and the growth of the world's population. They are directly related.
Sure.
And we're so dependent on them that this is a way bigger problem than we got to get rid of them.
Yeah, but so my point is though, like if someone was trying to like minimize their exposure, what would be the first 5 things that you go to?
Your house would be wood, glass, aluminum. You would have all cotton, bamboo.
But that's unrealistic, Sal. So go back to what I'm saying. Like the things are, I think of, you lay in your bed for 8 hours, right? So that's got to be one of the places. You drink out of a bottle or something like that. So probably avoiding plastic bottles.
Cosmetics is a big one.
Yep.
Cosmetics?
Big one.
Okay.
Very big
beauty
one.
products.
What do you got for top 5, Doug?
Major sources: soft vinyl toys, vinyl flooring, cosmetics.
Yeah, but that's what okay. So that's
air fresheners.
Like, phthalates are commonly found. That's what they're found in. I would think of like my son's toys aren't affecting me as much. Like what's affecting each individual? Like unless he's sucking on it, put it on your mouth.
I know you think even PVC, like the drinking water and all that, you got to replace the like copper and. It's just there's so many things that's like, where do you start? She kind of outlines like a good outline for that.
You absorb it through your skin, so it's not like you play with a toy like that.
I know, but so then something on your skin, like I said, like sheets or something like that all night long would be something more than something you just touch for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, cosmetics I'd say is probably one of the worst. I would imagine.
Yeah,
because you're literally putting it on your skin all day long.
Yeah.
I would think drinking out of a water bottle too would probably be.
Well, that's the microplastics, which is a really big one.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Oh, that doesn't fall in the same category?
So nanoplastics, I don't care what kind of plastic it is. Nanoplastics just get stored in your organs. So it could be phthalate-free nanoplastics, but it doesn't matter. They accumulate.
Yeah.
There was that one, right? Remember that one study with people with Alzheimer's? They found like a teaspoon worth of nanoparticles in their brain.
That's a lot.
Yeah, dude.
That's a lot for inside the brain.
Yeah.
It is.
Like a teaspoon.
That's what freaked me out. I started taking psyllium husk as a result of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a supplement to help with that?
So we think so. Things that bind. So psyllium husk might help. You know what else they found that helps? Probiotics.
Oh, yeah?
I was saving this for a commercial, but I'll talk about it later.
There's a freebie there.
Yeah. No. Probiotics are shown to, because your gut microbiome can get rid of a lot of nanoplastics.
Yeah.
And so there's strains of bacteria that do it. quite a bit. They actually tested it like specifically.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look too, like a lot of it was, I don't know, dude. The documentary kind of has this bias, right? It's like kind of anti-capitalist on some level, right? Because it's trying to really pressure the companies responsible. But you start looking at it too, like they were misleading the consumer by saying like all these things were recyclable, which there was this big movement there, and then it boosted sales, and it lasted for another decade of like really inundating us with more plastic.
You know, it's one of my favorite examples.
It's even further.
You know, it's one of my favorite examples of like we made a bad, stupid decision. Playgrounds, right? The floor on the playgrounds. What is it made out of?
Yeah. Rubber, the rubber tires.
That's
toxic
recycled,
rubber, shredded.
bro. Just giving off
All the high school
and
football
then
fields too.
The heat
All the gases
expresses
and
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Bro, we used to play on wood. It was tan bark.
All the high
I know,
school
bro.
football fields are out of that too.
Yeah.
All the AstroTurf.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's all little
I
tiny.
used to hate that because
you didn't know
I
that?
slide and get
So
in my eyes.
so AstroTurf, like that's all the high school football fields now that are all nice and pretty and they're perfect and they don't have to be watered. What they're using is tiny little particles of recycled
rubber,
tires.
little rubber beads.
Yeah.
Doug, look at how much, like what kind of chemical exposure, say chemical exposure from playground flooring. I'd like to see what that says because you can smell it if it's hot,
Oh yeah.
you know, and it's all bouncy. I guess it's safe. But meanwhile, my kid's getting, you know, feminized or something. I don't know.
Dude.
It's like turning, you know, it's like xenoestrogens in my skin. Like playground surface, what does that say? Hold on. Made from recycled tire crumb, poured in place rubber, and artificial turf contain toxic chemicals.
Yeah.
Including lead.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Are you serious?
And
Lead?
endocrine disruptors that can pose risk to children via inhalation, ingestion, or skin contact. So no one's going to eat the flooring. Well, I'm sure some kids
Yeah,
eat
well,
the
you
flooring.
think about the kids.
But
no.
skin contact and breathing.
They talked about the kids on playing football. Think about it, you're getting tackled and,
Yes,
and
dude,
it
it just-
comes flying up. It's like all these tiny little black dots.
Like I said, I got my eyes and like I was
Yeah.
always like, ugh.
So for sure it gets ingested. You get it in your mouth and getting tackled on a football field.
What was wrong with Tambark? Why did we switch it out? Is there something wrong with Tambark?
I think they're
Bro,
yeah,
money, bro. Money.
Yeah, it's.
It can't be more
Recycled
cheaper than Tambark.
Dude,
I think the
there's
perception of the
there's-
bounciness of
There's
it.
billions
like
of
when you
tires
fall.
that just get thrown away. They found a way to reuse a material.
No, I think Justin's right.
What do
but
you
I may
think?
be wrong. I bet you Tambark is cheaper, but
no,
parents like the bouncy safety.
I'll bet that all day long.
Yeah.
Tambark is not cheaper than the recycled
All right,
rubber tires.
is artificial, not artificial turf.
Well,
but what did I
because
say?
if it's trash and they're
Is-
just
Exactly,
grinding
it's
it up.
trash.
is the
I don't know.
put down say is the rubberized playground flooring cheaper than Tambark? Let's see what that says. I think Tambark's cheap, dude. That's like
No, it's not.
you don't think so?
No, have you ever put Tambark in your, I mean, I did it for my house. It's cheap. It's not like crazy expensive. It's not like laying tile, but it's certainly recycled tires that are thrown away have to be cheaper.
No, rubber playground flooring is not cheaper than Tambark. Told you. In terms of upfront installation
that's
costs.
Doug Googling, bro.
I know. Hey, I'm just going to tell you this. I am now typing in exactly what Sal says. Exactly.
You just
No,
triggered
hold
Doug,
on.
dude.
No. Scroll down. Scroll down. Okay, open that part right there. Tambark wood mulch, initial cost low. It's the most budget friendly, often costing about $1.50 to
for
The
$2.
problem is you have to keep replacing it.
That's I don't think that's why they did it. I think it's because they thought it was safer to have kids fall
I also
on bouncy floor.
I also want to look up like
Yeah, the poured in place one's definitely more.
I also am curious, Sal. We're looking from a retail perspective too. Just because people are charging $6 to $10 doesn't mean that they're not getting it.
Well, if
for,
you're looking at cost, yeah, I think you would
like what. That
you would
doesn't
win
mean that doesn't, just because we're getting that's the retail prices
All
right
right,
now.
I hope somebody
But
listening
retail for sure is
knows
gonna be
this.
more expensive.
I would bet money. I'll bet you $50 that the reason why they use the rubber poured in stuff or the rubber is because people requested quote unquote safer flooring.
I think you're right.
Not because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Because Tambark is cheap as hell. Now, over time, I could see how the rubber stuff might be cheaper because you don't have to replace it like you do Tambark.
Well, it's a feature schools like to highlight. Like even my old elementary did that, and then they replaced the playgrounds, and then as they replace it, they have the rubber coating everywhere. And
Yeah.
it looks, it's the perception of it is definitely like, oh, it's safer this way.
Yeah, see, there you go. Rubber playground flooring is used over Tambark primarily for superior safety, lower long-term maintenance, and increased durability. It provides better shock absorption to prevent injuries, does not rot or require annual replacement like wood mulch, and is accessibility friendly. Oh, because you could roll in with a wheelchair or something like that, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Well,
but I think it's the whole selling it like, oh look, Timmy could fall down and not, Plus, we used to throw tan bark, which yeah, it's fun. Remember we used to throw it at people.
I find that really interesting because you would think that stuff that is getting thrown away would be much cheaper. Tires are getting thrown away.
Yeah, you still got to process it. You still got to process it and turn it into something else.
No, you had to process the tan bark. That's it. That was a tree before.
Yeah, but tan bark is wood that is cheap and easy to process. It's not like nobody
Davy
builds
tree
anything
machine.
off of tan bark. Like, what do you use tan bark for?
Yeah, but there's like just tires that just get thrown away that nobody.
Yeah, but you got to process it, bro. That's why it's so expensive.
Yeah,
process it and turn it. I'm telling you, it's this whole like we got to make things safer. Oh, by the way, saves water.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that. That's definitely the selling point. I mean, I'm sure that's how they closed everybody on it. I just feel like that. It seems like tires that would be given away.
Not to mention, I wonder if the plastic playgrounds do the same thing. Now that I'm thinking about it,
what
all the playgrounds are plastic. Mm-hmm. The slides, everything's plastic. Is that doing the same thing?
Especially getting in the heat, like it's going to express and
the
leach.
plastic slide that your kid slides down instead of the old,
just giving up.
That's why I'm like
the old metal one that used to burn you at 2:00 in the afternoon.
We got burned. We got burned. Hey, listen, we might have got burned, but our taints are large.
Yeah, we got really wide taints.
We got big taints, dude.
Big taint energy.
Shout out to
dude.
metal slides.
Yeah, metal BTE. I got to talk about my ketone IQ regimen. It's 3 a day right now. You guys got to get in on it.
I'm okay. So I was going to tell you.
Are you sold?
So yeah, no. What I like is that I can drink my normal caffeine drinks and then I can have the one that's non-caffeinated.
Yeah.
And still get that like mental clarity sharpness.
Yeah. So you're using it regularly?
I do. Well, I wouldn't say regular. I'm not. I don't think I do anything as regular as you do. Although my supplement regime has been.
I saw you today pouring a bunch of pills.
Yeah, no. I've ever since that I've been pretty good with that. I haven't made my ketone IQ that consistent, but I make it when we podcast. So.
Yeah, I do it first thing in the morning before our first episode. Then I do it at lunch before our second episode, and then I do a third one.
You don't do as like a pre-workout
before I jump.
So I'm using.
I mean, I've tried it pre-workout, but I like it for like cognitive stuff.
So I'll tell you how I use it. Right. So we've now done 2 podcasts basically right now, and then we have a full day left of content shooting. I'll take one after this.
Yeah, the busy days. I'm definitely taking
because
some.
after about 3 podcasts or say 4 or 5 hours of content, whether it's podcasting or we're shooting out there. That's where I start to get mental fatigue.
Yeah.
And so I'll use it now because I've already drank my caffeine early and I'm fine right now, but I know that we've got hours ahead of us.
You feel sharp.
Yeah, I'll feel sharp.
You feel sharp. Doug, when this episode released, we're still got time before.
2 days. 2 days.
In 2 days, MAPS Push Pull Legs comes out.
Push pull legs.
Top 5 Justin Cole.
Men's
Crowd
version,
pleaser.
Men's version, woman's version.
Well, yeah. I hope people prove me right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun, and I'm excited about this one just because it's a fun program. People want it, so we did it.
And that Wednesday, Cole will be coaching for the first 3 days.
You'll get it for free.
Yep.
There's a new fatty acid that's making waves. It's called C15. So this isn't fish oil. This is a fatty acid that's found in dairy, but when you consume enough of it, you get incredible benefits. You get better cellular aging, or should I say slower cellular aging, mitochondrial health, better skin, reduced inflammation. This is the next breakthrough in fatty acid science. If you want to feel better, if you want to have healthier cells, better skin, better sleep, lower inflammation, try out Fatty 15. Go to fatty15.com/mind pump. Use the code mind pump and get 15% off. Back to the show. This segment of the podcast is brought to you by Mind Pump Fitness Coaching. This is the #1 course that teaches trainers and coaches how to build sustainable 6-figure plus businesses and careers in fitness. Look, it's roundtable based, so you can hear Adam, Justin, and myself teaching you how to build a better business, get more leads, close more deals, close bigger deals, and be more effective trainers. By the way, our course is nationally recognized. In fact, it gives you 1.9 CEUs with or for your NASM certification. Find out more at mindpumpfitnesscoaching.com.
Our first caller is Kristen from Oklahoma.
Hi, Kristen.
How you
What's
doing,
happening?
Kristen?
Hi. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, how can we help you?
I'm just going to go ahead and get to my question. I clearly did not proofread before I sent it, but okay. I recently stopped working with a personal trainer. I was with her for about 3 years. I learned a lot, but it was a lot of pressure and stress. I kind of decided it was time to move on. Now I'm trying to navigate moving forward. I meal prep the 4 days I work. I still have some disordered eating habits, such as binging, mostly with sweets. So I did increase my calories to about 1900. I've considered microdosing a GLP-1 to see if I could help combat the binge eating. Mostly sweets is my biggest issue. I'm currently about 140 pounds and I'm 5'7". I work as a nurse. I have a 4 and a 5-year-old. I'm at the point now with my kids getting older that I can work out consistently. I typically allow 30 minutes a day working out. My brother created me an exercise plan that I shoot for about 4 days a week. I do about a 6-minute cardio circuit just for heart health. I hit about 8 to 10K steps a day. My current macros are 155 grams of protein, 175 grams of carbs, 64 grams of fat. I would like to gain muscle, but not sure if I'm getting enough time in the gym for that. I was looking into Anabolic for my next program and have been in this program my brother made me for about 3 months. I'm just looking for overall health at this point, maintaining and being able to gain strength to be the healthiest I can be. I feel like I would be leaps and bounds ahead if it wasn't for the binge eating cycle.
Okay.
You're way under eating.
Yeah. Let's pause.
Way under eating.
But let's pause
Yeah.
for a second, Kristen. So I'm gonna
Okay.
sum this all up. So real quick,
Okay.
You were with a trainer, but you stopped because of the pressure that you felt
Yeah.
from it. You meal prep, work out, but you feel like you binge too much on sweets, so you're considering a GLP-1. You want to get strong and be healthy.
Yeah.
So that's your main thing, but then also you're not making progress, or at least the kind of progress you think you want to see. So let's get specific. What do we want? Do we want health, less pressure, get leaner, stronger? Which one do we want?
So obviously I'm like any woman, my husband rolls eyes, but I want obviously the tone look, but I've kind of realized going through all this process that if I want to have a more muscular look, I obviously need to gain muscle, and I would have to probably gain some weight with that. So I've kind of decided to shift my mindset and be okay with gaining some weight to get some muscle, and then maybe nothing like not an aggressive cut, because I don't want to, I want to be able to eat with my family and,
Good.
I'll be super restrictive.
Okay.
You're already in an aggressive cut, just so you know.
Yeah. And
You going up to 1,900 calories would be considered an aggressive cut for a 5'7", 140-pound woman who does 8 to 10,000 steps and is training 3 to 4 days a week. That's a massive cut. Right now,
Okay.
Corinne, who I'm training right now, is 106 pounds, eating 2,700 calories, only getting 8,000 steps into it. Okay, she's like, you need way more calories. Now we work our way up to that.
Yeah.
So it's not like I want you to all of a sudden eat 2,700 calories tomorrow. But the reason why, one of the reasons why you're binging is because your body is telling you, we need more fuel. We need way, and you feel like you're white knuckling it, trying to be good. And then what does it want? It wants the fastest source of carbohydrates and fuel as possible, because you're depriving it.
Okay.
So if we were in a more balanced, well-fed diet, it would also help out with the binging. So instead of going to something like a GLP-1 and crushing your appetite even more than where you're at, we need to do a proper reverse diet, focus on getting strong and building muscle, not weigh yourself, because if you're already in that mindset of I'm okay with a little, like, don't focus on the weight. Slowly increase, focus on the strength in the gym and feeling good. And that's where our mindset should be, and to get our calories significantly up. Like, I would want you to eventually get up to 2,700 plus calories, to be able to come back down to say 2,200 calories. And that's an aggressive cut. And you lean out and you're more fed than you are now.
Yeah, I obviously don't have any problem eating a lot of food or a lot of protein. My biggest fear was if I were to increase my calories, if I would still have those habits, and then I would just be eating, I don't know how many calories, at that point.
No, but let's pause here for a second, because Adam just gave you all the right answers, but I have a feeling you knew that.
Yeah. I knew that's where it's going. I'm just scared to do it, I think.
Right. So we got to speak to that. So, because I don't think you need the answers. I think you know the answers.
I mean, I just wanted some reassurance, I guess, that to increase the calories that high, but I'm just scared that I'll be like, oh, there's the chocolate cake and I want to
Right.
eat half of it. You know what I mean? And then I'm eating like 3,500 calories.
Yeah, let's talk about that because you're like, I want to get stronger and build muscle, but I want to microdose of GLP-1. Do you?
I know, it's like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but do you see the conflict that's happening there? So let's speak to that for a second, okay? You want to build muscle because you know that's the right answer.
Yes.
Okay. But you're scared
Yeah.
because you feel like you're going to go off the rails?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna help you here, okay? Because you're probably not gonna go off the rails.
Yeah.
You might a little bit at first
Yeah.
because you might be, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kristen, but you might be the kind of person that keeps yourself in check with lots of pressure and shame.
Probably, yeah, because I feel guilty about it. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not going to eat as much
That's right.
tomorrow. And then I just eat the same amount of food.
And so that's been your MO for a little while. And so what happens is you're like, if I let go of that, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what's going to happen. You might go off a little bit. You might test it a little bit. But then you're going to find that it's actually quite freeing. And part of the reason why you binge, there's the physiological reason, which is what Adam said, and we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
But the other part of the reason why you binge is because if you live in that place where you're putting a lot of like you got kids, right?
You're tyrannizing yourself.
Okay. So, and your kids are young, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they're 4 and 5.
Okay. But you've been around teenagers.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're pretty young. Remember when you were a teenager?
Yeah.
What happens when mom and dad put so much pressure on you? What do you do at some point? Or what do you want to do at some point? You want to what? You want to rebel.
Yes.
Yeah. So what you're doing is you're rebelling against your own pressure. That's what that's part of the reason why you're binging is it's a release of pressure. It's like, oh God, I live under this tyranny all the time.
Yeah.
Let me just let go for a second. And then you do, and then right back on the pressure. No,
that's truly how I feel. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm just eating all this. And I was like, I know I'm going to regret this later.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Then the guilt sets in.
That's right. So,
Yes.
so part of it is you're physiologically hungry.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it is you got to get out of that like you got to be okay with you got to stop beating yourself up.
Yep.
Like you got to stop that. This relationship, if you keep it going, you're always going to be this way.
Let me also tell you like more back to like what's happening too. Like, so let's say like to more to Sal's point, like let's say I was coaching you. First thing I do is I move you up to 2,300 calories and we're strength training 3 days a week. You're doing great. You're feeling good, feeling strong. And then all of a sudden you have a day where you do everything, you eat everything normal. And then all of a sudden you also eat a big bowl of ice cream too. Guess what's going to happen? Pretty much nothing. Yeah. You're not going to put a pound of fat on. The next day you'll probably be holding some water. So psychologically you'll look in the mirror and go, oh my God, no, you didn't. You added 500 calories. 500 calories is not a pound of fat. It's not even a half a pound, not even a quarter of a pound of fat. What you'll probably do is end up fueling our strength training workout the next day and you're going to feel strong and have a lot of energy. And we get right back on the horse and we keep going. And we try versus, oh, I can't believe I did that. And then the next day trying to restrict more or whatever like that or punish yourself. Like, so and some of this is where I think I feel like a lot of our clients that we work with, this is the hardest. It's like you know logically what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Having somebody who's there who's kind of reminding you like
and just coaching you.
It's okay.
You're good. And giving you the tools to handle it.
Yeah.
If I were to bump your calories, the place I would bump it is fats. 64 is probably too low.
Okay.
Your protein's great. Carbs are great. I bet you if you went up to, you added 20 grams of fat, maybe a little carbs, get your calories up 200 calories, I bet you would feel physiologically better.
Okay.
And if you have a binge, here's what you do, okay? If you have the binge or that moment or whatever, after you're done, this is what you say to yourself. Of course you did that. You're under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you did. It's okay. It's all right. We'll try again.
Okay.
And that's not letting yourself off the hook.
Yeah.
It's not letting yourself off the hook. What you're doing afterwards, what you're typically probably doing is like, you idiot, that's it. Tomorrow we're going to really clamp down. Yeah. That's what's causing more of them.
Right. I know.
So you got to, and I want you to say what I'm saying because it's not natural. You're going to feel like it's silly and awkward, but you literally say out loud by yourself. You can even write it down. That's another way you can do it. Be like, of course you did this. You're under a lot of pressure. You got kids. You got a job. And I just beat you up all the time. And so, of course, you wanted to escape a little bit. I totally get it. We're just going to try again. And you got to say that to yourself. bump the calories, do what I said. I think MAPS Anabolic will be a great program for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think you're going to get great results.
Follow it the way it's laid out.
Okay.
More is not better.
Okay.
If you do anything else, walk.
That's it.
Yeah, you want to do
Okay.
more stuff. You want to be active. Or I'm all pro walking. That's good.
That's it.
But
Okay.
follow the program the way it's laid out.
And then,
Okay.
and then here's the other thing. Is I'll just ask you a couple questions before I give you this advice. How's your husband with all this? Does he tell you look good? Is he encouraging?
Oh yeah, and I feel like I look great. Like I have no concerns about how I look. I feel like a lot of it is mental. Like I read the
is.
Dopamine Nation and I was like, I have to figure this out. Like, why am
Yeah.
I doing this?
Yeah.
But he's super supportive. He's like, stop, just enjoy it.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm just gonna feel guilty the
All
next
right.
day. Like,
So because you got your husband, you love him, you trust him, he's
Yeah.
the father of your children. I want you to lean on him a little bit, and then this is what you tell him. Hey, honey, I need your encouragement, and if you feel like I need to rein things in, I want you to gently talk to me about it because I'm not going to trust myself because I don't think I'm trustworthy with this for myself.
yeah.
And lean on him a little bit, but I'd go up in fat, MAPS Anabolic. You're going to be totally fine. But stop
Okay. And you think like 200 calories a week just
A day?
increase
Yep.
Yeah.
and see how I do?
Oh, you could go higher than that, but we'll start there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Kristen, do you know that we have coaches that do this too? Do you know that? Are you aware of that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I had a good coach, but she doesn't have children, and I feel like I was kind of like running in the ground. And if it's going to take time away from my kids, then I'm not doing it, to be honest. So
You don't need another Kristen training you. You need something different.
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Well, if you're open, we have coaches, and I have some that I think would work well with what you probably need. And
Okay.
if you want, I can have somebody reach out and call you.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to talk to somebody. Any more support I could get. So.
It's
All right, I'll do that.
it's only a single call a month virtually. That's it.
Oh yeah, that's super low key. I was doing like weekly check-ins.
Oh yeah,
and,
no. It's
I was exhausted.
you'll get plans sent to you, and their goal is to guide you, and then that once a week when you guys get on the phone, check up on how the month went, the adjustments, and so it's we really try and empower our clients to do this stuff, and we don't need to be talking to you every single week. You'll get stuff that you can open up and read and valuable to you, but there's not this like accountability. You need to do this every day type of deal.
Weigh yourself, measure yourself. Like stuff.
Okay.
So we'll have someone call you and they can tell you this, but what Sal laid out for you, and we'll send you MAPS Anabolic. That's the plan. If you find yourself wanting more guidance, then get with one of the coaches. They'll take good care of you.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. It was nice to meet you. I enjoy your podcast.
All right,
You too.
Kristen.
Thank you.
Okay.
Common, very, very common situation.
Yeah.
And and
Self-tyranny.
Oh yeah, everybody does it. Everybody does it. And when you do it for so long, you're like, if I don't do this, what's going to happen?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my God, I'm going to go in the other
Blow
direction.
up. Yeah.
The reality is the reason why you have these little breaks of whatever you want to call it, discipline is because you're trying to escape.
You're clamping down so hard.
Yeah,
on
dude.
yourself.
It's like I need to get away from this. It's like a relief.
I mean, 5'7", 140 pounds is good weight.
No, she's fit, dude.
Yeah, she is.
She's fine.
If she just wants to tone, what like she used.
Build.
She needs to build muscle, and she ain't building. And she just went up to 1900,
Yeah,
which
so who
tells
knows
me
what
she was
at.
probably at
She's
16.
probably real low. Yeah.
Yeah, and that much activity. I know. And then you're already doing the whole, restricting on yourself and tyrannizing yourself. But what you're feeling is that your body needs it. It wants more.
And the other part that when you speak to is this GLP-1 situation where there are definitely situations where it's valuable. And then there's situations where I don't think it's appropriate. This is one of them.
No.
It's not appropriate. And it may give short-term success, but it is not going to solve the root issue.
No, I mean, she could take a GLP-1 and drop down to 130 pounds and eat 1,100 calories a day. That's what it would do.
Yep.
If someone who's only eating 1,900 takes a GLP-1, she'll be lucky to eat 1,100 calories. Yeah. And she'll drop 5 to 10 pounds, but she'll lose almost all muscle. It'll be terrible.
Won't be good.
Yeah.
Next caller is Adam from California.
What's up, man?
How you doing,
What's
man?
happening?
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. I feel like I'm obligated to glaze you boys before I get into my
Go ahead,
questions.
brother. Go ahead.
Let me get ready.
I know you guys hear it all the time, but as somebody who has been in business a long time now, like I truly do believe like what you guys do is the highest form of entrepreneurship, and really helping people solve like what are maybe the most serious problems, right? And so just kudos to you, man. You deserve all your success. And, I pray for nothing but success for you guys in the future as well. And then PSA to anybody that's listening, like, these guys know what they're talking about. I was skeptical. I finally got to a point where I was like, I'm just going to prioritize protein. I'm just going to hit my 200 grams of protein every day. I'm going to see what that does. And like literally every aspect of my life is better. Like dropping fat, I feel amazing. I usually, I go to bed, I'm sore. I've been usually just after a long walk through my hilly neighborhood with the dogs, and my legs are killing me. And I wake up every morning like I've been on vacation for a week. Like I feel amazing.
That's great.
Sick.
And so just appreciate you guys. My question's not so much about me. I feel like I'm doing great. And it's about my son, Ethan. He is going to be 14 here in July. I was an athlete. He's an athlete. My daughter's an athlete. He focuses on baseball. And he's a very skilled player. I was a late bloomer, developmentally. We think he's just started puberty like right now. So this is actually the first year he's on a pretty good travel, program right now. This is the first year baseball's been hard for him. Like, we're facing kids that 12 inches taller than him. On Sunday, we faced a 280-pound kid that was throwing like 80 miles an hour. It's crazy, man. And his plan was, because he's a young 8th grader right now, his plan was to do a holdback year. And he's such a social guy that as we got closer to having to make that decision, he was like, I'm going to go to high school next year. I don't want to be away from my friends. And so we kind of turned our focus to, all right, man, you got to get more athletic. You got to get stronger and you kind of got to get after it. Right. And he was down to do that. And so let me tell you what we got him doing right now. We got him. He's 5'4", 155 pounds. He's got some pudge on him, some baby fat and things like that he's working through. He definitely needs to get stronger, faster, leaner, more agile, just more athletic in general to be able to compete in high school next year. And he's getting after it. So right now we've got him at our target is 150 grams of protein a day. So that may be a little high. That may be, right around the ballpark. He's doing for speed, he's doing hill sprints a few days a week. He obviously practices all the time. And then for strength, I've got him focused, like trying to keep it simple. He's doing farmer carries, everything he's doing twice a week. Farmer carries, he's doing deadlifts. For chest, he's doing, one day we're doing flat bench. The next chest workout, we're doing incline dumbbell press. I've got him doing front raises for shoulders. I do have him doing military press. The shoulder stuff we're doing like once a week because he throws so much, for baseball. And then, I'm looking for guidance from you. I would say that I'm feeding him a lot of lean cuts right now. And so I am worried that he's underfeeding. He's probably between 1,700 and 1,900 calories every day. And I'm wondering if we should boost that up by giving him fattier cuts of meat, primarily. And then, my thought is because he's young, he's able to recover so quickly, that as long as we keep the weight relatively light and focus on his form, that he should be able to crush volume. He should be recovering pretty quickly. But again, I didn't start lifting until, I started playing football in high school. It was a different world. There was a ton of volume, a ton of, just heavy lifting. My focus right now, one, is everything we do, I want to make sure it's safe. I don't want to cause any problems for him, of course. And then two, I want to maximize, his ability to get more athletic and be able to compete with confidence as he kind of reaches the next stage of his athletic career.
Awesome.
So I want to hear you guys out. I know you guys are all athletes. Justin, I know you fellow college football player, would love to hear your perspectives.
That's really good. So there's really good data now that we didn't have back in the day on young athletes and what contributes to their performance later on the most. It's really, really good data. But before I talk about that, is he enjoying all this stuff?
He is. Okay, he's really getting into it, man.
Okay,
like his YouTube algorithm now, when I check it, it's all fitness stuff. Good. It's all exercise stuff. It's rad.
Because that's number one. Number one, he's so young. You want to make sure he's developing a good relationship with it. He likes it. Otherwise, you'll run into the scenario where the kid gets pushed, and then later on they're like, I don't want to do this anymore type of deal. The second thing, and this is the most important thing to focus on with a young athlete, especially one whose body is going to be changing rapidly, is body awareness and kinesthetic ability. More important than anything. Because the brain is extremely plastic at younger ages. So a good example of this is like learning new languages. Like if you and I learn a new language right now, no matter how well we learn it, we're always going to have an American accent, no matter what. But you teach a kid 4 different languages when they're young, they'll be able to speak all 4 of them as adults fluently. And that's because the brain has an ability when you're younger that you essentially lose when you're older. It's this plasticity. And this also extends to body awareness and kinesthetic ability. So what you learn when you're younger with body awareness will last and improve your athletic performance later. So here's what the data shows. Let's say you got a kid that's really gifted at baseball, okay? And let's say we could like duplicate that kid. And on one end, we take them and we just focus on baseball because they're good at it. And that's where we place all of our time and energy. And then they get to college and then they, play at that level. Let's say on the other hand, we take this kid who loves baseball. He still plays baseball, but we also have him run, do gymnastics, do swimming,
soccer,
play golf, soccer. So he's just doing a lot of different things up until he's probably a sophomore in high school. Then he focuses on baseball. He's going to be better at baseball than the kid that focused all his time on baseball because of that general body awareness. Okay, so that's it's even more important than getting him strong at a particular lift. It's more important than anything. So variety is the name of the game when it comes to your kid. Not getting him hurt, very, very important. As long as he loves it, it's great. Strength training is good for that. And his body on top of that is changing so rapidly that body awareness becomes even more important because let's say he's really good at, throwing a baseball right now, and then in 3 months he gains an inch in height, which could totally happen. His body's totally different now. Now his mechanics are off and it's going to be weird. It's like when you see a puppy grow real quick and they're kind of awkward.
And we've seen that. He's grown an inch in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And he does pitch and his control has suffered through that process. So that makes a lot of sense.
So it's all about body awareness and variety. I love the carries. The traditional exercise are good too, but have him do lots of different things and get used to his body. Body weight movements seem to be better at
Low
this.
suspension trainer.
So like what they call closed chain movements. So like bench press is great. Push-ups might be better. Overhead press is good. Shoulder, handstand push-ups might be better. So you want to kind of look at that kind of stuff. Suspension trainer is great. Gymnastic style exercises are good, and kind of like these like full body type movements,
multiplanar type stuff for sure. And honestly, going through this with that type of an age range for me, like exposing them at the compound lifts, it's got to be very minimal. And hyper focused. So, their mechanics are everything with that. So, like our 15 program. So I was thinking like Performance 15, just taking that sort of protocol, but then, the days in between where he does his skill sessions and he's working on speed. One thing that's one of the most important skills of basically any athlete is speed. Speed is going to carry them so much further than most attributes. And you get speed by getting strong. And then, we apply acceleration to that. And so to be able to have, the ability of body control, move in different planes, get exposure to all those variables like Sal's talking about, it's like super important. So, but light doses of compound lifts to really build up that baseline strength is going to be really important. But the mistake I made and mistake a lot of athletes I've worked with make are they overdo that. And they do really long sessions. They do hour-long to 2-hour-long, or they do it like 4 or 5 times a week. I would reduce that down to like maybe 2 to 3, but like only 2 to 3 like compound lifts on those days. 2 exercises on those days, and that's it. So it'd be like a 15 protocol, but just like twice a week. And then the rest of it is all just, field work and speed work. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I'd send over MAPS 15 Performance to him.
And then you can use those workouts
first of all.
for those days.
Does he play? Is he into other sports too, or is it just baseball he's into?
He played basketball and soccer. And then, once he was done with his 12-year-old seasons, he really just wanted to focus on baseball.
Yeah.
So it was kind of his call. We kind of pushed him to do other things and try to get him into flag. He's going to be huge, right? So I'm like, football is always there. But he loves baseball, and that's what he wants to focus on.
We did a really cool interview years ago. It was
Chad Wesley Smith.
Yes. You'd love it. It's all about
Talks about this.
We go into deep. The whole thing is about childhood sports and sports development from beginning to end, all the way to the professional level. What the ideal kind of programming and volume and all that looks like. Really, really good. I'll have Doug look up what episode number it is, and I'll give it to you.
Awesome.
You'll enjoy that conversation. But the guys are right. Like the amount of like strength training, like traditional deadlift, squatting, like movements like that is actually pretty minimal. And your mindset is right. Like mechanics is like just teaching him good form and strength. And if he gets a little bit stronger in it, great. But don't fool yourself, because he's so young and can recover well, doesn't mean we want to do a bunch more with him as far as strength training is concerned. He'd be far better off doing speed, agility type of work and multi-planar stuff and working on being quicker and picking up a basketball still and playing basketball. Like those things will serve him in baseball actually even more than hyper focusing on that hype. And Chad Wesley Smith goes through this. You do start to hyper focus, but not till later in his career. Yeah. Early on, diversity wins. Diversity in sports, diversity in his movement patterns, and that's a lot of what you want going on. More of that, the better. We didn't touch this, but I think you're already alluding to the right thing with his diet.
Yeah.
Definitely bump fattier meats. Like he for sure can. For sure can handle more calories. And I would put, and that's an easy way to do it. Let him enjoy tri-tip and rib eyes and go that, or chicken thighs, go that direction. For sure, for more calories and higher fat. But 952 is the episode. Yeah. So episode 9, wow, was that long ago? It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely after like sophomore year, like really start like increasing that intensity and like adding that baseline foundation strength with compound lifts will be great.
So 3 sports that are really good at kind of full body awareness and kinesthetic ability would be like wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is another one, rock climbing is another one. And now this wouldn't be where he would spend his time like really trying to be the best. It would be fun.
Sure.
So wrestling might be difficult because if he goes and wrestles in school, wrestling coaches are pretty damn intense. So that's a difficult one. But if like jiu-jitsu, he might go to Brazilian jiu-jitsu once or twice a week. That's really good for body awareness. Rock climbing.
He's shown interest in that stuff. I think that's a great idea and something that we can offer for him.
Perfect. So that would be great, right? Because it's great for body awareness.
Yeah.
It's athletic. Yeah. It's different than baseball. You got to learn how to move and use your body differently. It's very similar to wrestling.
A lot of hip power and hip rotation stuff too.
It's just really it's the body awareness, dude. That's everything. And then rock climbing is the other one. Is if like, hey, you want to have fun? You want to try doing some rock climbing or whatever? But if he's interested in jiu-jitsu, I bet you. I don't know how much practice he's doing with baseball, but like 1 or 2 days a week of jiu-jitsu would just make him a better athlete.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah. You're doing good though, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. A lot of it. But we'll send over the
Maps 15 performance.
Maps 15 performance. So you got that. Listen to that episode 952.
952.
952 with Chad Wesley Smith. And then I think literally like if you could get him in jiu-jitsu once or twice a week would be rad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Appreciate you so much, man. Yep. Thanks, guys.
Doing great, man.
Right. Thank you.
Yep.
That was a long time ago. That episode, first of all, when I talk about it, makes perfect sense. But I didn't think that.
Yeah.
So when he said that to me, it was like, it's like one of those moments, a light bulb goes off. It's like, of course.
Well, yeah.
Of course that's the best thing to do.
It's funny. I just thought of him because I was kind of constructing a bit of a plan for some student athletes at my son's school. And, Chad Wesley Smith actually got involved, I think, in his kids' school. He's like the head coach for their football team, and they're just crushing. Yeah, they're like breaking records and everything. And he implemented like his entire protocol and workouts.
I was wondering what he's been up to. We haven't talked to him in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, he still has Juggernaut training, which is a great.
So he still does that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still do that,
yeah, it hadn't popped up in my feed in a long time. I wasn't sure if they were still doing it.
It's so counterintuitive, right? You think, oh, my kid's gifted. I'm just going to focus all time
so
and energy in this one sport.
Yeah.
and it's just not how the brain.
Well, and you hear
learns.
examples of this, right? It's like you have, a Tiger Woods, who's 3 years old.
And he's focused on,
and he's focused his whole life on that, and he becomes one of the best golfers ever.
Right.
So it seems logical, like, oh,
That's
of
right.
course, the
That's
more
right.
time I spend doing this, the better I'm going to be. But when he breaks it down, and this is where our trainer brain goes, like, of course,
Yes.
when it is like,
and also studies are good because they're looking at large sample sizes, general performance, what seems to work best. Because obviously Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, and her sister, those are like phenoms.
Yeah, I mean, Tiger Woods even had to change his entire swing.
That's right.
well, and
because of the repetitive overuse injury.
well,
I don't know.
and who knows what if, like, because here what we see right now in professional sports is what is this playing out. Like classic example is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was a superstar baseball player
I didn't know
and
that.
football player.
Wow.
Yep.
And if you watch the way he can contort his body and throw the ball like nobody before
sidearm
him
throws.
has been able to.
Yep.
And so you're starting to see these kids that grew up understanding this
Wow.
philosophy.
It gives
and,
them an edge.
and they have a total edge.
Wow.
And so it's evolving sports, but we talk about players like Tiger Woods, like Michael Jordan. This science hadn't came up yet.
That's right.
And so it was like, and so
Who knows how much better
exactly
they are.
how much better would Michael Jordan have been, or how much better would Tiger Woods have been if he actually diversified that younger, you know what I'm saying, but still kept playing golf, but diversified it more. Who knows? He might have even been even better what he was.
Our next caller is Brandon from Oregon.
Brandon, what's up, dude?
What's happening?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How can we help you?
Well, I guess what I'll do is I'll probably just read my question that I sent in, because if I don't, I'll either miss some details or I'll get long-winded and talk forever. So I sent in, I said, hey guys, I'm looking for some guidance and clarification on my training and nutrition. I'm currently 34 years old, 6 foot, and I'm about 215 pounds. I don't know my exact body weight or body fat percentage, likely mid-20s, but my goal is to get down around 15%. For context, I've been lifting since I was about 14. I've mostly followed the traditional bodybuilding or bro split, where I'm doing, one muscle group per day, 5 to 6 days a week. As I've gotten older, I've started to feel like this amount of volume might be too much. And mentally, I started to struggle dialing it in or dialing it back, as I feel like I'm not doing enough on a daily basis. I worked with a virtual coach for about 18 months and made solid progress, going from about 230 pounds down to 200. While I was improving my body composition, I was lifting very high volume, 6 days a week, 8 to 9 exercises per session, usually 4 sets each lift. And I was doing 30 to 40 minutes of incline treadmill walking. I was eating around 2,400 calories a day, extremely high protein at about 280 grams of protein a day, 64 grams of fat, and 180 grams of carbs. After about a year, I burnt out. I struggled with adherence, especially with nutrition at night. I eventually fell off the plan. I've always had difficulty sticking to strict nutrition and tend to look for instant results. I struggle with body dysmorphia and being overly hard on myself, which makes consistency challenging. This has been my biggest hurdle for as long as I can remember. I never give myself enough credit, and I'm probably the most impatient person I know. All this combined with an intense sweet tooth and bad habit of binge eating junk food in the evenings, especially ice cream, has made it incredibly hard for me to be where I'd like to be. I struggle with all or nothing mentality, where I feel like I have to be perfect or I'm failing. So when I fall off the meal plan for even one meal or a day, I tend to derail completely. Going back to my previous nutrition plan, I've wondered if my calories were too low and not balanced well enough, specifically my protein. I've also questioned whether undereating for my training volume contributed to burnout and nighttime overeating, or if this is more of a mental thing. My mind tells me that it's a mental thing because it tends to be my sweet tooth that gets me in trouble in the evenings. Right now, I'm coming off of a hernia repair, which is it's put me out of lifting for about a month, which I do feel like maybe has given me an opportunity to reset and rebuild smarter. Looking ahead, I'm hoping to join my local police department, hopefully where I'll soon be working 12-hour shifts. That'll make gym sessions difficult. So I'd like to transition to a more sustainable plan, ideally lifting 4 days a week with a good balance of strength training and mobility. In the past, I've really enjoyed lifting heavy, especially squats, deadlifts, and bench. However, my lack of recovery and mobility, I believe, has hindered my progress and led to some persistent tightness and discomfort throughout my body. I truly believe it was because I didn't and still don't do much mobility work in my routine. So my main question is, while I do focus mostly on whole foods and hitting a protein target, I'd like to know what you guys recommend my caloric intake be regarding my training volume, or an appropriate training volume, I should say. And I've listened to you guys for about 6 months, maybe a little more than that, and I've binged a ton of episodes. I've heard all about all your guys' MAPS program, but I have not actually purchased one yet because I was like, I don't know exactly which program would be ideal for me specifically. So I was hoping maybe some guidance on that, something that maybe balances strength and mobility, recovery, and just, long-term sustainability for me.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit first about your 280 grams of protein and only 60 grams of fat. You must be eating tilapia or tuna and chicken breasts and ground lean turkey. Is that the diet or what?
Pretty much. And I think that's part of the reason why I struggled to adhere to it after a while. I was eating the same boring, bland food, and I was like, I tried to spice it up, but it's hard to do that,
bro. Chicken thighs, have some chicken thighs, have some ribeyes, enjoy a tri-tip every now and then,
bro. Your protein would be better if you brought it down to like 230, and added 50 grams of carbs, and then added like 30 grams of fat. Your calories need to be up higher too. You should be up to like 27, 200. Your intuition is on point, by the way. Everything that you're feeling is because you've been overtrained and underfed.
Yep.
And that includes your lack of mobility. It's not like you need to do more. It's your body's stiff and overtrained.
Yeah.
So you got it. So training wise, very easy. MAPS Anabolic will be a great place to go.
Okay.
Bump your calories. Your protein's really high. It doesn't need to be that high. 220 grams, 230 grams would be plenty.
Yeah, I've since dropped it since I was that high. If
you just switch the meats out to the higher fat meats, it'll take care of both.
Yeah.
If you literally get rid of the ground turkey bullshit and the chicken breast and switch for chicken thighs and ribeyes or ground beef, it'll bump the calories and it'll lower the protein, increase the fats.
It's so rare that I find a guy your size who can do well on anything less than 80 grams of fat. It just doesn't work, dude. It feels like crap, and it causes binging.
Yeah. Well, and I can't say that I've felt great throughout the entire, there was days and weeks even where I'm like, I feel like I'm just dragging. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if that's overall volume in the gym and I'm just overtrained or underfed or a combination of both. And then both. Right. Yeah. And then the more I listen to you guys, I'm like, man, it's gotta be a combination of both.
Yep. Bro, you'll feel so different in like 2 weeks. If you bump your calories and your fats, do MAPS Anabolic, that's your strength training, 3 days a week. That's it. Nothing else. If you want to walk, if you want to do mobility in between, then go for it. And that's it. And your body composition is going to change.
And be patient, because going through that, your body has been used to getting beat up with that much volume and underfed that, so it'll take a second for you to kind of recalibrate. So I always tell somebody when I switch this, it's like, if you trust us, trust the process. But that is the plan. The plan is a MAPS Anabolic 3-day-a-week program. A great program to follow up that would be Performance, because it will address some of your mobility stuff that you're talking about.
It'll be perfect for Police Academy too.
So it goes MAPS Anabolic, then go to MAPS Performance right after that, and then the calorie. Literally, the way, like, I wouldn't even overthink the calories, to be honest with you. It would literally be cut out all this extra lean meat and just switch it out for higher fat meats. And it'll take care of bumping your calories and take care of your healthier fats, and you'll be more satiated and you'll feel better.
Your testosterone will probably go up too.
Yeah, all those things.
So that, funny you brought that up, Sal. I just had my testosterone. My total T was down to 290.
Yeah, bro. Low fat.
That's normal when you're underfed, overtrained, not enough fat. It's common. And I bet your sleep's probably crappy too, because it's hard to sleep. when you're underfed and overtrained. It's probably so. So yeah, your testosterone will go way up just from doing those things.
Yeah, I mean like the things that I'm like, if I'm coaching you through this process, because it will take a time for your body to recalibrate. It's like, how is your sleep? How is your libido? How's your recovery? And those are our three first markers, and then strength, right? So those are the four things that we're kind of like talking about. I'm not really tripping about weight. I'm not even really hyper focusing on calories. It's like I'm switching out all those lean meats to higher fat meats, letting you enjoy yourself and be fed when you want. And if you're hungry, go eat, but just make good choices. Go eat another serving of the ribeye and rice or whatever like that. That's your body probably telling you it needs more fuel because it's trying to build strength. And so, but those are the things that we're looking at. We're like, how's libido? How's energy? How's recovery? How's strength in the gym? Let those be your guide. Once you start checking off all those, saying, yeah, that feels good. Yeah, that feels good. Yeah, that feels, then comes the composition.
That's right.
Then all of a sudden, muscle starts packing on, waistline starts coming in. But focus on those four as your guiding principles of like what you need to be focused on. And then the other shit follows right behind that.
Just for the testosterone, because you're probably like, what the heck, man? That's a scary thing. If I were to give a man 3 steps to crush his testosterone, here's what it would look like. Overtrain, undereat, too low fat. Like guaranteed to destroy your testosterone.
Yeah. So
you're hitting everything on the head. Like I don't sleep all that well. I mean, some days I'll go a week and I'm doing okay. I track it and it's usually high 70s, low 80s. So it's like, it's not awful, but it's not optimal.
Bro.
I wake up every night like at 2:00 on the dot and I'm just awake for like an hour.
Yeah. Stress, dude.
Yeah.
It's too much stress on the body with the exercise, not enough eating and not enough fats. Your body's hurting, dude. You're gonna. Here's what you'll notice right out the gates: more energy, better sleep, and you're stronger.
And recovery.
And then what Adam's saying, trust, and then stick with it, because then you'll start to see the strength gains, and then you'll start to see the body composition change. Which takes a little longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once all 4 of those are in line, because you're doing all those things, then you'll see.
You'll be good, dude.
Yeah. Then we'll be rocking and rolling. But just trust the process. It is not a calorie thing, dude. Like, obviously, if you go and eat like an asshole, like I say, and you start binging 4,000 calories, that's not going to serve us. But if you're hungry and you eat and
it's whole natural
foods,
you're good, dude.
And I don't care if it's a fattier cut of meat with a good carbohydrate, rice, potato, sweet potato, like stuff like that. Go for it. Yeah, eat it because you're hungry. That means your body is. It's rebounding, it's recovering, it's rebuilding, it's wanting to build muscle. Like, you'll be fine. But just trust that process.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
We'll send over MAPS Anabolic, and then, like I said, after Anabolic, follow it up with Performance.
Okay, perfect, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and everything you guys do. It's great. Thank you.
You got it, man.
Take it easy, Brendan.
All right.
I swear, dude. I swear to God, bro. The ultra low fat sources of protein.
I knew it was. I was like 280 grams with only.
He's eating
boiled
chicken breast.
That is chicken. That is chicken breast, extra lean ground turkey,
tilapia.
And tilapia. That's
yeah. And I'm gonna say this right now. Like those ultra lean, super lean cuts of meat. If that's it, when that should not be. Not even close to a predominant source of your animal sources of protein. Unless you're a competitor and you're 12 weeks out and you're measuring everything. If that's usually what you eat for your protein, your life sucks. You feel like crap. You're not able to recover. Your hormones are probably off. It's like just eat the meat. Now I'm not talking about going like 60% ground beef or eating sausages all the time, but like chicken thighs. Regular ground beef, tri-tip,
ribeye,
occasional ribeye,
sort of fat.
Yeah, dude, you need it.
Essential.
Yeah.
Our next caller is Farron from Ontario.
Hi, Farron.
How you doing, Farron?
Hello.
Hi. How are you guys?
Good. How can we help you?
Good. Sorry, I'm sitting on the floor because I was having issues using my computer, so I'm on my phone. So
that's all right.
That works.
I'm going to read my email. I did shorten it a little bit just for sake of brevity, but I think it has all the information that you'll need. So, hello, my name is Farron. I'm a 38-year-old stay-at-home mom. I have 2 little boys. And over the past 3 years, I've lost more than 30 pounds through cardio, macro tracking, and then eventually strength training. Along the way, I also fell into a cycle of overtraining, restriction, and body dysmorphia. But after working with a coach to rebuild a healthier relationship with food and training, I'm now in a much better place, but I'm unsure how to move forward with my goals. So a little bit of background. I started my fitness journey in 2023 when I bought a popular spin bike and began doing classes at home every day. My youngest son was utterly confused and kept asking why I was riding a bike and not going anywhere. And he was right, because I lost 15 pounds and then stopped going anywhere. I plateaued really quickly. That's when I found the Carbon Diet Coach. I started tracking macros, dialed in on calories, started eating enough protein, and then the weight began to drop off again. So at that time, I also started strength training, and I gradually built up a home gym. And by the fall of 2024, I had reached my lowest weight of 122 pounds and 19% body fat. So I looked slim, but I didn't have the physique I wanted. So I kept pushing harder, strength training 5 days a week, doing cardio almost every day, and then fell into just a cycle of dysmorphia and restricting and binging. I felt awful, and I knew something needed to change. So I'd been listening to you guys for a little while, and I decided to hire a coach. She helped me rebuild balance. She increased my calories from 1,800 to 2,400, reduced my training to 3 days a week, and told me I could do cardio, but it was optional, not mandatory. So my weight went up and stabilized at 134 pounds, and I felt really great. So at my request, we ran an 8-week cut last fall so I could practice doing it in a more sustainable way. I reached 127 pounds, but I felt really crummy and I was really hungry, so I returned to maintenance. And that's where I've been ever since. So now my weight has stayed the same. I'm probably about 22% body fat, 2,200 calories a day, 130 to 140 grams of protein, 3 or 4 strength days. I do 1 lower, 1 upper, and 2 full body days. I use the second full body day as optional, so I don't force myself to do it, but I do complete it most of the time. And I train at home with a home gym. I homeschool my kids, and I run our household. So I'm pretty active during the day. But my main struggle now is my lower body. So my upper body slims out really easily, and then I carry most of my body fat around my hips and glutes. And I have cellulite, which I hate. Even at my lowest body weight, I still had cellulite. So my coach explained that achieving the look I wanted would require a level of restriction that probably wasn't going to be sustainable for me long term. And I understand that, but at the same time, I do want to continue to improve my physique. So my question for you guys is it realistic for me to continue improving my lower body composition while eating maintenance? Or would pursuing this goal likely require a deficit that risks pushing me back towards unhealthy habits? How can I focus on building more muscle in my lower body through adjusting my training structure? Or is this mostly a matter of genetics and just false expectations for women? The biggest win for me over the last year has been rebuilding a healthier relationship with food and training. So protecting that progress is really important to me. Thank you for everything you do. I've learned a lot from your show, and I would really value your perspective.
First of all, you look great.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, you look great, and you're doing a great job. Yeah. That's first and foremost. I'm curious to do you know what your squat, deadlift numbers are? How strong how strong is your lower body? Tell me.
Yeah, so I have been gradually building my home gym. I just got the courage to buy a barbell and a squat stand for myself.
Yeah. Okay.
So I get that at home.
Okay.
Yesterday I did my first round. I squatted 120 pounds for 8 reps.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing that, and then I'm still using the program that my coach had me on. So I'm doing 8, and then 12. So I can do 110.
Yeah.
For 12.
Farron, you're doing great.
Yeah, and your coach did a good job. It's actually rare that I hear someone on here tell me about a coach, and I think they did well. I think your coach did a really good job with you. I think you're doing great, and you need to cut yourself some slack. I think you're too hard on yourself.
Yeah. I know, but
no, there's no but. You're doing really well. Body fat percentage 22%. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to feel your best and be your healthiest between 22 to 25% for the rest of your life. That's where you're going to want to sit.
You're at the right body fat percentage. I think you'll obtain the look when we build more muscle in your legs. Yep. And I think that you're just now starting squatting.
This was your first time barbell squatting?
A year from now, your lower body is going to look radically different after squatting and deadlifting for a year.
You're fine.
Yep.
Yeah. You could get away with bumping your calories about 200 more calories, just so you know.
I think it would be better.
So I would feed you a little bit more, and I would try and get strong in the squat and the deadlift. Like, let's keep going.
Yeah.
And watch what your lower body ends up shaping up to be like. And honestly, I want your body fat percentage about where it's at. I don't really want to get, but it'll look different when we put 5 to 10 pounds of muscle on that body.
That's right.
It's going to look way different.
That's right.
So I think the look you're trying to achieve in the lower body will come from squatting and deadlifting for the next year and getting strong there and eating 200 more calories and kind of hovering where you're at, doing what you're doing.
Your calories probably be about 24 to 2,500 calories through this process, and just get strong. And I think 4 days a week of strength training is okay. You're better off doing 3.
Okay. So I don't want to get leaner in a sense that I want to like lose weight or even lose body fat. I'm happy the way I am in that sense. I would just like more muscular definition.
Right. I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I got that from the message. That's what I'm telling you. That's the prescription.
Bump your calories. Do you know how many grams of? I'm assuming you're hitting.
Get you there.
I'm assuming you're hitting good protein. Do you know what your fats are at?
Yeah, so I've religiously tracked, which is another thing that my coach was getting me off of. So I have done times without tracking, but I feel more comfortable tracking. My proteins, 130 to 140. My fats are between 70 and 80, and then the rest are carbs.
You had a good coach, Farron.
Yeah,
it's pretty rare I hear about a good coach.
Where's the coach? Where's the coach from?
So she works for Prime Revival. But at the time, I actually found her through searching on Spotify for a podcast on how to stop tracking macros.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Going crazy with it. And I just started listening to her podcast. And then I added her on Instagram and she reached out to me and said, "Hey, how can I help you?" And it was just a beautiful kind of relationship that we built.
Coach.
She got me into a really good place.
Yeah, she's great. If you want to reach back out to her for a little short stint, probably be good. But bump your calories to 2,500, and let's get you strong. The fact that you just started barbell training, that's going to unlock a lot of gains for you.
The next 2 years, you're going to see consistent progress and change in your lower body.
Just from getting stronger.
Just from that.
Yeah.
Just from that.
I'm going to send you Maps Anabolic. That's the program I want you to follow. It's 3 days a week.
Okay.
It's 3 days a week. Do that.
Yeah, that was my question because I'd like to just maintain my upper body, but I guess I'm a little bit I don't want to overtrain in volume if I want my focus to be on my lower bodies.
Well, let's do this. Muscle mommy.
Yeah,
I'll give you muscle mommy. Yeah. It's a little more. It's more lower body focused. Very similar to Maps Anabolic. Follow that program. Bump your calories 200 to 300. Don't drop them down, and let yourself build. Build into the look that you want. Don't try to cut into the look that you want.
Yeah, no, I'm done with that. It doesn't make me feel very good, and it just gets me back into a bad place.
And listen to your body. There's a good chance that when you start really hitting strength training, your appetite will go up. So don't fight that. If you get hungry, eat, but go eat a good balanced meal. Go have some steak and rice or whatever your favorite meat and rice or yam or sweet potato is. Go have a balanced meal. Whatever that is, like feed it. Because that's what I'm listening for. If I'm coaching you, is as we're going through this program, you're telling me like, wow, you're feeling strong, and you're like, Adam, I'm getting hungry, and I'm like, yes, feed that. Then we'll go up again. So if you're not, then you'll be fine with a 200 calorie bump. But even at 2,400 calories, if you start getting hungry from lifting this way, that's a good sign. That means you're trying to build muscle.
Okay. Yep. So, is this something that I should focus on for the next, I guess forever?
Well, but at least the next 3 months, because the program's 3 months long. So follow that, the way it's laid out, and with the advice we're giving with calories, and just let the program do the work.
And I'll tell you this, Farron, if you just started barbell training if you just focused on, smart training and getting stronger for the next 2 years, that's the best focus.
Serve you the best.
For the next 2 years, just try to get stronger.
Yeah.
Be smart about it. Don't hurt yourself, but just try to get stronger. Feed yourself to do so, and you'll get the look that you're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah. You got a really cool year ahead of you. Because you had a good coaching that sets you up well. You're in a good place right now. That program's going to be incredible for you. And just like Sal said, just
you know what? You want to get back on here after you're finished with Muscle Mommy?
Yeah, I'd love to hear where you're at 3 months.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Okay,
All
cool.
right,
We're gonna send it. Yeah, we're gonna send it to you, and then reach back out, and then we'll do a follow up with you.
Okay, perfect. So Muscle Mommy is good. So at home I have dumbbells 5 to 50 pounds. I have a squat stand and barbell, and I have a cable tower too.
You got everything.
You're
good.
Covered.
You got everything you need.
You're covered.
Yep.
Okay. And so I've stopped doing cardio. I just don't.
That's fine.
Really.
That's fine. Walk. If you want to do anything else, walk. But follow the program the way it's laid out. Any other activity, walking.
Yep.
Just walking. Okay. Well, when it's -15 here, it's like the 7 years of winter that won't end.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
okay, thank you so much. I've been wanting to call in and talk to you guys for a few weeks and months probably, and I finally mustered up the courage to do it, and you've given me the reassurance that I hear you say all the time, but it's really nice to hear it directly from you guys and to get positive feedback as well.
Awesome.
You're doing great.
We'll see you in 3 months.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much.
All right, Farron.
Thanks, Farron. Hey, that never happens where somebody talks about their coach. I'm almost always like, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
Their coach did a great job.
Well, listen to how she found her.
Yeah.
Because that podcast
her
episode is
seeking
not
that
that's
topic.
not
Yeah.
that's obviously a coach who's been coaching for a long time.
That's right.
To even have a podcast episode titled "How to Stop Tracking Macros."
Totally.
Doug, send her an email. I'd love to get the name of the podcast and find out who this trainer is. But that's great.
Yeah, no, I definitely. Maybe we'll steal her. We'll come work for my podcast.
That's what I was thinking.
I know, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. Stop doing 3 sets of 12 to build muscle and do this instead. You guys want to guess?
Stop doing the 3 sets of 12 and do this instead. With that intro, my guess is you're going to tell people to change the rep range
5
up
by
to 5 by 5 or low rep range.
Do you guys remember
the
when
angle you're going?
Yeah, so oftentimes we get stuck in like a set count and a rep count or a range that's